You're watching Trending Tech on NewsX World, where we bring you the latest tech breakthroughs and trends from around the world. Now, combat drones, ISR systems, and kamikaze drones are redefining how wars are fought today. Conflicts in Ukraine and Gaza show just how decisive these tools can be in modern battlefields. India is watching closely, using these lessons to shape its own drone strategy and defense innovation. Indigenous companies are now stepping up, reducing reliance on imports and building homegrown capabilities. Across the globe, countries are adapting to drone swarms and AI-driven warfare, and India is positioning itself to play a key role in shaping the future of global defense technology. To talk about this, joining us now is Dr. Vipul Saxena. He is an aviation expert and a former defense pilot and aeronautical engineer. Dr. Saxena is also an award-winning author and columnist. I thank you very much, Dr. Saxena, for joining me in this discussion and for being available to us. Let me start by asking my first question to you. Dr. Saxena, as a former defense pilot and aerospace engineer with experience in the Indian Navy, how do you see the integration of advanced technologies like AI and autonomous systems transforming India's military aviation, particularly in helicopter operations over challenging terrains such as mountains and seas?
See, now the war territory or war scenario have changed drastically over the last 20 years, where unlike earlier, eye-to-eye contact was there with the enemy and enemy forces. Now things are more of remote and more of unmanned kind of weaponry which are being used. So in that scenario, India also has progressed quite well, and drone plays a major role in current war scenario. Whether you talk about surveillance, whether you talk about reconnaissance, or whether you talk about target acquisition or even attack. So in that scenario, I think drones have come up with quite a force multiplier in the current defense scenario. And the way this technology is evolving, I think is one of the fastest evolving technology, which is able to adopt any kind of new systems like AI. AI currently was actually on the computer basis, but now because this also has a lot of computer backup, so AI also has been integrated in the drone system, which is giving tremendous impetus to its capabilities.
You've also written about structural fatigue in helicopters and you've won awards for it. Could you explain the latest technological remedies that are being adopted in India to enhance helicopter durability and safety, especially for defense applications?
See, when it comes to structural fatigue, the fatigue happens because of various reasons. That's what my paper talks about. It is not only because of the aging of the airframe or because of the weather. There are also various techniques, and when the pilot flies, the kind of forces, aerodynamical forces it goes through, and various other factors which affect, which imposes the huge stress on the airframe, and that is what it causes the fatigue. Like you to take example of human being. Now human being fatigue when you're in summers, you get exhausted very fast. In winters, your skin becomes dry very fast. So similarly, any machinery also has impact on its structure based on the climatology, based on the operations, based on the environment it is exposed to, and based on the operation it is being utilized. So keeping that in mind, there are research being done continuously that how to ensure that these structures are made with the least fatigue quotient, and also the fatigue, when it happens, it doesn't give away the complete control over the machinery. So on those sides, there are new type of material have been developed, like carbon composite material. There are so many materials which have been developed, which are very safe when it comes to fatigue on the structure.
Now, with India's push for indigenous defense manufacturing, what technological breakthroughs in projects like the Tejas fighter jets or the C-295 transport aircraft assembly do you believe will really position India as a global leader in aviation tech?
Absolutely. I think as far as development of aircraft design is concerned, I think India has progressed quite well. Only thing is, so far we are still dependent on the engine side, on the Western countries, and I think, but I'm sure within a year and a half or two, we will be Atmanirbhar even in that sector also, and then thereafter our productivity will increase like anything. Because today our productivity depends on the engine supply, engine delivery, which takes a year plus, and there are also political reasons because of which engine delivery gets delayed. So I think once we achieve that kind of Atmanirbharta, I'm sure the induction of number of aircraft that are required by the Indian Air Force and the Navy and Army, I'm sure we'll be able to meet up requirement much before the deadline. So otherwise, when it comes to our competency or ranking in airframe design, engine designs, or even the quality control of the structure that we're designing, I think we're quite a remarkable score.
And Dr. Saxena, drawing from your expertise in defense procurement and offsets, how are international collaborations such as with France on Rafale and Mirage aircraft accelerating technological advancements in India's air power?
See, what happens is in defense deals, whenever we buy any new weapon, whether you talk about Mirage, whether you talk about MiG-29s or any other, maybe ship also, or maybe tank. So the deal, has two parts. One is the delivery of the machine. Second part is continuous supply of the consumables and spare parts. That was the concept about 15 years ago, before Modi ji came in. Now India has changed its whole strategy.
Yeah.
Now we don't want to depend upon the original equipment manufacturer for everything. So now the new type of deal which we are doing is new age deal which we are doing is even transfer of technology. We do not sign any deal with any country as of now unless there is a technological transfer is done with India, whether fully or maybe any in collaboration. So that's a new strength Indian forces are getting from the government of India. I think that's a quite a new approach which will give a lot of freedom and independence for armed forces for the dependability on our own country for the supplies and manufacturing.
In your articles, you've also spoken about and highlighted the need for regulatory reviews, right? How can emerging technologies like data analytics and predictive maintenance now improve operational excellence and safety?
See, nowadays, with the evolvement of technology and especially in the IT sector, there are a lot of platforms which have come in which use AI and ML to analyze data very fast pace and gives a lot of predictive data or predictive information which is being used and which will be used in future as well to reduce the wastage, to reduce the downtime of the machinery and also improve the efficiency and productivity of the aircraft. So I think with that kind of systems evolving in Indian scenario, I think that's quite a big strength India is achieving.
And what role do you foresee for sustainable technologies such as electrical propulsion or biofuels, especially in India's future defense and civil aviation fleets?
So there's something called SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel, which is being manufactured using ethanol. So when it comes to automobile fuel, there is no specific, a very high-tech process being introduced. But when it comes to aviation fuel based on ethanol, it has to be synthetically developed or other processed so that there is absolute safety of its shelf life or its life. It doesn't, its composition doesn't give away in any situation. So keeping that safety margin, the SAF have been introduced in the aviation sector. As of now, the mixture ratio is about 1% of the total fuel, which has been allowed as of now. But I'm sure with the time when this fuel proves 100% safe and as consumable as a normal ATF, I'm sure it will add a lot of value to the requirement of fuel on the fossil side, and also as far as India is concerned, India will be highly independent in the sense because India has got huge agricultural backup, especially on the sugar cane from which the ethanol is extracted. So I think things are working out quite well when it comes to the sustainable fuel system is concerned.
Dr. Saxena, you've also discussed military transport aircraft procurement. Could you elaborate on how advanced avionics and modular designs in platforms like the Airbus C295 they will enhance India's logistical capabilities in defense scenarios?
So as of now, our focus mainly is onto the combat aircrafts, and when it comes to logistics, it's more of on the helicopter side, because numbers required for these two type of variants are very high for all the forces, whether you talk about Indian Air Force or Navy or even Army. So that is why government's main focus is mainly on the fighter aircrafts and also helicopters of different roles. Helicopters are used for logistic support, they're used for anti-submarine warfare, they're used for surveillance and reconnaissance. But when it comes to fixed wing logistic aircraft, the numbers requirements are not so high, and capability of one each aircraft itself is quite large, that those many numbers are not required in rotation or in a continuous process, that we need so many aircraft to be produced every year or something like that. So that is why at this moment, as far as India is concerned, is more depending upon Western aircraft acquisition than developing our own aircraft at a fast pace. But yes, there is a work going on in coordination with Airbus and other OEMs to develop our own logistic aircraft, which is not only used for the logistic support, but also for the early air warning and also reconnaissance purposes.
Okay. Now, do also talk to us about how tech tools like SAP HR and AI-driven
interventions or human inputs taking supremacy over the data which is being developed. So that is what I talked about, that now with this new kind of scenario, one is we are getting quality talent. Second thing, our training effectiveness has improved. And thirdly, the performance evaluation is giving accurate performance metrics of the pilots and engineers, so that we can find the gaps and fill those gaps through training.
All right, and looking at India's international aviation network expansion, what technological innovations in long-haul aircraft and route optimization do you predict will boost connectivity to destinations that are farther, like the US or Europe?
So nowadays, the things which are developing are on a satellite based. So currently we have Gagan and other systems in place, but then I'm sure you must have heard a lot of incidents in the recent past. Then spoofing was going on, or even there are sectors on international level where many times for good about 20 minutes there is no radio call between the tower and the pilots. So these are the gray areas which needed solution. So now things are developing into all this automatic navigation system, automatic future positioning, automatic updation of the positioning of the aircraft, and also communication through the radio waves, and also through data linking or through text messaging, which will have no barrier of weather, no barrier of any kind of wave propagation, so that there is a smooth and safe flying operations happen across the world without any kind of threat of collision or any kind of aircraft getting lost or getting into any kind of distress.
And finally, Dr. Saxena, before I let you go, as a member of the Aviation Safety Management Society of India, what cutting-edge technologies such as real-time monitoring systems or fatigue detection AI should be prioritized to address pilot shortages and ensure safer skies in India's booming sector of aviation?
So I think what India grossly needs is the kind of aviation manpower India needs, looking at the exponential growth perspective, making India one of the largest global aviation hub by 2020, 2030. We would be needing about almost 10 to 15,000 pilots and almost about 5,000 to 6,000 engineers. So with those kind of manpower requirement, I think government is already working on it. But yes, these measures of opening up flying training centers and aviation technical centers, flying training centers, drone technical centers are to be progressed at much faster pace, because buying aircraft is easy, but deploying the manpower, the requisite manpower, it takes minimum 1 year if you do not have their own pool of talent. And one big area which I would like to highlight is the drone area, which is a very niche area, which is a very new area as far as India is concerned. So far, we do really badly lack the drone technological design and development. What is happening currently in India is assembly. We buy the parts from abroad and assemble them in India. But what is required is some kind of R&D of developing new prototypes, new designs, and then also manufacturing those parts and the systems within India. And then for that we would need academic institutions. We also would need a lot of talent to fly drones and also maintain the drones.
All right, then thank you very much, Dr. Vipul Saxena, for joining us on this episode of Trending Tech.
Thank you. My pleasure.
With that, viewers, it's a wrap on this episode of the Trending Tech. For more tech updates and innovations, stay tuned to NewsX World.